Hey students, today we're going to build on the last lesson and we're going to be looking at the area of 2D shapes without the little squares. We will also be revisiting perimeter as well today. So the keywords are exactly the same as last time: base, rectangle, height, area and units. Remember from last time that when we are going to write the units for area, we need to always write that little 2 which represents squared. Whereas for perimeter, we will just write the units such as centimeters, millimeters, meters. The question on the right hand side is something that we should all be able to do by the end of this lesson. So this is very important that you actually learn this rule. So for any rectangle, to work out the area, we times the base, which is the length at the bottom, by the height, which is the distance going upwards. This is something that you will have to know and for your GCSE, so it's very important that you learn it now. Right, so for our first example, we're going to be looking at this square. So to work out the square, we can do, once again, we can do base times height. But even if they just were to give us one of the dimensions, just say they weren't going to give us the 4 centimeters there, we know that all of these sides are the same, so we can just do 4 times 4, because we know this side will be 4 too. Moving on, base times height, 4 times 4, which equals 16 centimeters squared. Remember to always add that little 2. Now if I can get you to pause the video and have a go at this question on the right hand side, pause it for about half a minute to a minute, and have a go, and I will put the answer up on the board. Right, so you should have all got 25 centimeters squared. Moving on to the next example. So as we looked at before, to find the area of this rectangle, we do base times height, so we need to do 8 times 4, which equals 32 centimeters squared. Now if I can get you once again to pause the video and have a go at that question on the right hand side for about half a minute to a minute, and I will put the answer up on the board. Yep, so you should have all got 30 centimeters squared. All it is, we're timesing the base times the height, and that's the answer that we should get. Right, so now that we know how to work out the area and we know how to work out the perimeter, we're just going to look at a couple of questions that incorporate both of them together. So in this first question it says, Mr. Mahmood thinks the area is larger for this shape. Mr. Iqbal thinks the perimeter is bigger. Who is right? So we need to work out the area and we need to work out the perimeter. So remember, to work out the area for a rectangle, it's going to be base times height. So all we need to do for the area is do 8 centimeters times 4 centimeters. And the answer is 32 centimeters squared. Now if we work out the perimeter, remember the perimeter is the distance around the whole shape. So if we've got 8 here, we'll have 8 here. We've got 4 here, we'll have 4 here. So what we need to do is do 8 centimeters plus 8 centimeters plus 4 centimeters plus 4 centimeters. So the perimeter will be 24 centimeters. So now we can look at these two answers and we know that 32 is bigger than 24, so we know that Mr. Mahmood was right because the area is bigger. So now what I want you to do is pause the video and have a go at the question on the right hand side. You can spend about a minute or two because it's a bit more complicated, and I will put the answer up on the board. Right, so you've got the answer up on the board. The area is bigger. So now, what I want you to do for the independent task is take 3 shapes from the top and 2 shapes from the bottom. So on the top, all it is asking you is to work out the area. So what I want you to do is draw the shape on a piece of paper, write down the measurements and work out the area. The bottom questions are asking you to work out the perimeter and the area. So likewise, draw the shape and their measurements and work out the answer. Then if you can please take a picture of this and upload it onto ClassCharts for today's lesson, I'll be very grateful. Thank you for your time. I'll see you next time.